Now, that may be all that you have so far. You may only have a 3-stage filtration system, or you have a pre-filter in front of the RO, which was included as stage 1, and then technically everything moves after that. So I designed this form to fit those interesting scenarios. Things become optional after the membrane stage, the reverse osmosis treatment. So stage 4 typically should be, in most cases that I have found, is some sort of polish cartridge. So it kind of levels out the water in terms of taste and all that. You never want to drink water that is actually distilled water, because the water is so pure, because it's removed a huge majority of salts from the water that are minerals, that it actually is considered hungry water. And so this is similar in nature, as it helps to give it a taste, but it also gets rid of any of the net taste after everything's been removed from the water, where it's more aesthetic, pleasing to taste. So we'll mark this as today that it was installed. And again, if never was replaced, then use the install date of the RO system, which you wrote down on your post-it note. Okay, so the stage 4 cartridge. There's a number of different things. From a safety standpoint, I'm going to tell you that if you're using this water for personal consumption in the form of ice and water beverages for humans and pets and fish, well, I'll exclude fish, because some of you folks are reefers from saltwater aquariums and having a coral reef in an aquarium for your saltwater fish. You do actually use a deionized cartridge, but for anything with fur, warm-blooded animals, for pets and for people, I want to make sure that you are not using a deionized cartridge whatsoever. If you're using it for commercial purposes, that's fine, as long as you have a way of bypassing the stage 4 cartridge and have it continue on to a post polisher for green taste and odor. But you have to have that mapped out where it's obvious that this is going to one tank and the deionized cartridge is going to feed the rest of the water, prepare its finished water for your commercial application. So for example, a number of commercial window washers use deionized water because it's cheaper than any other source to treat their water. Some of them buy these conditioners, and they go through deionized water quite regularly. And deionized cartridges, the resin bead is so expensive, it is like liquid gold. And you don't need it for personal consumption because it makes the water hungry, because there's nothing in the water. And so what ends up happening is you continue the thirst because it's not hydrating your body. It just passes right through. Unfortunately, as it passes through, it is leaching out of your body any minerals that it can find. And so you remain thirsty to the point of either you got to get different water because you realize you're drinking the water, you're peeing the water out, but you never feel like you satisfied your thirst. So that's a giveaway. I would say the same thing about distilled water. Don't do it. Great for irons, for rinsing out your water testing equipment like your TDS meter, as well as if you get a pH meter down life's road. It's great for rinsing off the residual that you were testing from your sample, but don't consume it, please. As a former clinical medic, I know, and also I've worked with dental clinics as well about this. So if you do have deionized water, you better have a remineralization step as a final step to put it back in, because another thing that it does is it eats the mineral right off of instruments. And I know dentists, they have these hand tools that they use to stick in your mouth, and those things can cost several hundred, if not thousands of dollars each. That's what we're paying for when we sit our behinds in their dental chair, which is called an operatory. It's dissolving. So if you ever seen rust, that's corrosion. But dissolving is like adding acid to something, and it just takes that steel or that iron and puts a hole in it. That's what it does to a body. pulling out the minerals, and then you end up not having bones. You have something that looks like, oh, I don't know, something perforated, like a sponge. It's pretty sad. Same thing for your car. I don't recommend that you try to pour this into the cooling system like, well, I've got the best water. It's already treated when you buy the ethylene glycol, you know, for your coolant or antifreeze. That's all you need. Just, it already factors in your city water or your well water. They know it's not going to be for drinking purposes, but they also know how to treat that water for your interior block of your engine to keep it cool and also not to freeze up. So enough about that. But just know that after this stage, things get optional. My recommendation is that you do have the post CTO, which is chlorine taste and odor polisher, and it just polishes the water. So think of the rock hounds out there, and they create a solution, a rock, and they put it in the polisher, and then days later or weeks later, whatever the case is, they get this beautiful looking, like a river rock. It's smooth and it's shiny and it's elegant, and so it polished the rock. Well, we're polishing the water now. If you have a big question mark here, or you don't have one at all, just click unknown. On this page, if you don't have this cartridge for stage 4, you can bypass this whole thing, because you'll notice I don't have any required answers on these. But for my system, I do have it, so I'm going to play along with it. We're going to call it the post-chlorine CTO. So what's the capacity of life? Well, here's a picture of one. 1 year, 1,000 gallons. Yes, that's not a misprint, folks. Again, this is not the water that was used in stage 1 and 2 that finally gets separated by stage 3 and goes down the drain. The 3-to-1 ratio is still impacted, so you can expect, at least if everything's optimal, with a single membrane, to spend 3 gallons of water, which was not safe for you to drink or wash or food prep or cook with. It's out. It goes down the drain, and then that gets reclaimed, hopefully, by your water treatment facility system through the sewer lines. They treat those things, and it gets reused down life's road. And they have the industrial strength chemistry to knock down a lot of the problems that were in the water to begin with. So don't feel terrible about it. You can certainly collect that water if you are industrious and live in an area where, say, you never have to worry about a freeze situation, and you just have a port of this water going directly out to collect at a 55-gallon drum. And I used to live in California, born and raised there, but I still remember decades ago where people were conserving their water, and they had these huge plastic 55-gallon drums, and they would put in a pipe to adjoin them, kind of like stage 1 connects to stage 2. And they made 3 or 4 of those 55-gallon drums collecting water. And then what they're able to do is put in a submergible pump and connect it to the 3/4 inch connection of a garden hose. And they could go around and water their plants and landscaping, garden, whatever, because there's nothing wrong with that water. That is non-potable water that you don't want. Technically, it's potable, or I'm sorry, potable. But you could take that potable water that is not good enough for your reverse osmosis concerns and still reuse it. Now you're not wasting. Okay, it's food for thought, or water. What is the capacity in life? So we use this as our example here. It says 1,000 or 1 year. So that's what you're looking for on some of your other cartridge filters. Some sort of rating system here. So it's helpful to have it out or take a picture of it and then put it back in. But we're going to say 1,000 gallons. That's the max. And again, at the risk of being redundant, these are the things that I teach my students how to monitor not only how long it's been since you last replaced it, but how many gallons has it gone through. There is digital equipment that will collect this. It's kind of like an odometer, if you will. So the water comes in, turns a little wheel, and goes out. And that little wheel spinning around is calculating the number of gallons that has passed by in real time. And then it gets up to a digital sensor that reads out how many gallons. And if you know you have 1,000, or you write a little note to yourself that the life is 1,000 and you're approaching 800 gallons on it of produced water, finished water on your RO side, so it's not going to be the everyday water because of that 3-to-1 ratio. You should be looking to make sure you have that on your shelf. If you don't, you need to stop and order it. And if they say it's going to take a week or two to get it, hopefully that's not the case, but I've seen it happen. You want to catch this on the front end so that you don't have to be out of the best water that you could possibly have for everyday consumption. What is the capacity in months? Again, this one says 1 year. We all know that in months as 12 months. What's the micron rating? If it's on here, it'll say. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Wow. Minimum temperature 35 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees hot, 125. And this is a 0.5, so it's a half a gallon per minute. Flow rate, 125 psi is the maximum. Doesn't have a minimum. Interesting. That's probably fine because the pressure is going to be significantly reduced after stage 3. All right, so we're going to put this back, reset. I don't know if it actually showed the gallons per minute flow rate on that. Oh yes, it's half. All right, we'll just leave this big so I can refer to it. I'm going to put an unknown on this. It's not as important because it's finished water. What is the flow rate of the cartridge in gallons per minute? A half. Maximum, actually it was unknown because it didn't have a minimum, but it did have a maximum, 100. Minimum temperature, said 35 degrees. Haha, just choose 40. What's the maximum temperature? Maximum temperature, 100. And 35 was the minimum, but we'll say 40. That's pretty doggone cold. It's refrigerated water cold. And the maximum was 100. Yep. All right, so I'm going to hit reset. So now we're back to, we'll zoom in. We're back to the end of the page on page 7. Boom. And now, a brief message from our sponsor at dailylivingwithwater.com. Hello, I'm Mike Rogers. If you like this video and want some help troubleshooting your water treatment system to get back to the best water flowing inside of your home and business, I've got good news for you. I've developed 2 remote troubleshooting support plans that you're absolutely going to love. Nobody else in the water treatment industry offers this valuable and exclusive service. This is a game changer the water treatment industry has never seen before. These per-session plans are called Standard Remote Support by email and Priority Remote Support call. These per-incident support troubleshooting sessions are offered remotely by email or through a video conference call, which is designed for more urgent situations. Whether you have a reverse osmosis or whole house water filtration or UV disinfection system or all of the above and more, I've got you covered. Whether you're on city water, groundwater well, or aquifer well, or a cistern water supply, you now have a friend in the water treatment system industry for education, support, and real-world solutions that won't break the bank. Both support plans are designed with you, the do-it-yourselfer, in mind to guide you through the steps combined with my input, having over 3 decades of experience in water treatment. Between you and I together, we can help you get your water treatment system back online fast and at a reasonable price. My global award-winning technical support experience of over 2 decades takes the complex and breaks it down patiently into a proven and simple step-by-step process. After you have solved the issue with my direction and your input and your hands, you'll be able to be the hero who protected everyone's water source under your roof. But I can't help you if you don't hire me. Just click the support link and order your remote support troubleshooting session with me right now. You'll be glad you did. In fact, the email support plan starts at just $99. Our 100% secure automated online ordering system is standing by 24/7, 365. Also, if you're thinking about designing a water treatment system for the first time, or thinking about upgrading your current water treatment system project for home or office, or you just need an independent second opinion on your water test diagnosis, because there is no one-size-fits-all water treatment solution, I offer both independent water treatment design consultations and treatment plans that are customized to fit your specific home or business needs. Click on our Learn More link to see my digital learning products, training, services, and support specifically designed for the first time ever to empower the do-it-yourselfer. I've written books on the subject of water that are only available at dailylivingwithwater.com, with more publications coming soon. All offerings by dailylivingwithwater.com are exclusively designed for do-it-yourselfers, homeowners, renters, and business owners seeking affordable solutions to safe and effective water treatment for everyday use. It's a scary world out there with water issues in the headlines, which seems like nearly every week. Get peace of mind right now. Click those links to protect your home and your business water supply today. My name is Michael W. Rogers with dailylivingwithwater.com, and I approve this message.